What if all the world's wealth were equally distributed? Imagine waking up tomorrow to a world where something unprecedented has happened. Every dollar, every stock, every property, every financial asset, all of it has been equally distributed among every human being on Earth. No billionaires, no poverty, no inequality. At least, not at first. Would this be the greatest act of justice in human history, or the fastest way to collapse the global economy? How much wealth does the world really have? Before we can divide anything, we need to understand what exists to be divided. According to global financial reports, total world wealth, including real estate, stocks, businesses, savings, and other assets, is estimated at hundreds of trillions of US dollars. Estimates vary by definition, but a commonly cited range is 400 to 500 trillion United States dollars in total global wealth. Now consider this. The world population is just over 8 billion people. If all that wealth were divided equally, each person would receive roughly 50,000 to 60,000 United States dollars per person. A life-changing amount for many, a modest sum for others. But here's the first critical question. Is all wealth actually money? Wealth is not cash. Most global wealth does not exist as cash. It exists as company ownership, stocks and shares, land and real estate, factories and infrastructure, intellectual property. To redistribute wealth means more than handing out money. It means redistributing ownership, rewriting contracts, breaking existing property rights, deciding who controls production, and that's where reality begins to intervene. Day 1 after the distribution. Let's imagine the redistribution somehow happens overnight. Day 1 looks euphoric. Billions of people suddenly try to buy better food, secure housing, purchase technology, improve their quality of life. Demand explodes, but supply does not. Factories cannot instantly produce more goods. Farms cannot harvest faster. Infrastructure cannot scale overnight. Prices rise rapidly. This is not speculation. This is basic economics. The result is massive inflation, potentially within days. Money becomes less valuable, precisely because everyone has it at the same time. What happens to companies? Companies do not disappear. Factories still exist. Employees still work. Goods still need to be produced. But companies require capital, investment, risk-taking, long-term planning. As people spend their newly acquired money, something inevitable happens. Money flows back to businesses. Those who manage resources better, reinvest efficiently, innovate, take risks, begin to accumulate wealth again. Ownership reconsolidates, not because of conspiracy, but because production rewards efficiency. How fast does inequality return? This is one of the most uncomfortable findings. Economic simulations and real-world experiments suggest that within 1 to 3 years, inequality reappears. Within 10 years, wealth distribution resembles the original pattern. Within 1 generation, concentration returns almost completely. Why? Because inequality is driven not only by money, but by education, skills, decision-making, discipline, risk tolerance, human behavior. Equal money does not create equal outcomes. The myth of the perfect reset. Many believe inequality exists simply because the wrong people have the money. But history suggests otherwise. Every time wealth is forcibly reset, inflation follows, productivity drops, black markets emerge, incentives collapse. Money alone does not generate value. Value comes from production, coordination, trust, incentives. Long-term thinking destroy those, and the system breaks. Ironically, this global redistribution would not help everyone equally. Short-term winners, people in extreme poverty, heavily indebted individuals, collapsed economies, long-term losers, middle classes, pension systems, savings-based societies, stable economies. The initial equality fades quickly, but the economic damage can last decades. So if redistributing all wealth doesn't solve inequality, what does? What if instead of redistributing money, societies focused on redistributing access to quality education, healthcare, legal equality, technological opportunity, economic mobility? Maybe inequality is not about how much you start with, but what systems you're allowed to access. Equal wealth does not create equal worlds. It creates a brief illusion of fairness, followed by the same human patterns re-emerging. So the real question is not, What if everyone had the same amount of money? But what if everyone had the same chance to create value? That question has no simple answer, and that's why the experiment remains hypothetical.